I know. It's a lovely place of the world. Lovely place. You wouldn't want to live there, though. People are horrible. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Christmas is over. Back to work time. And it's time for Manchester United to get back to work as well. Koulibaly, interesting development in relation to this potential deal that many United fans are now demanding this January. We'll also be talking about what the Manchester United players are demanding in relation to Manchester United manager, Sir Alex Ferguson's return, some big news around Fred, Pochettino, loads to discuss, big show. Drop a like on the video, get involved, and remember, sorry we're not doing the normal 8 o'clock slot tonight, but I'm doing a watch along on That's Football for Spurs versus Chelsea. If you want to join me for that, we are playing Spurs at the weekend, so a bit of a scouting mission. Looking forward to that. Links in the video description. But let's crack on. Koulibaly to Manchester United. I cannot wait. And I hope at some point I will actually be reading out those words. Reading out those words? I don't need to read them out. I'll remember them. Koulibaly signs for Manchester United. He's not signed for Manchester United. Not the last time I checked. But really important that we do go after him. So why is there a sudden buzz around him? Well, the buzz is coming from France football. Now, he's not French, for a start. And he's not playing in France. But this sometimes happens around transfers. And they're reporting that Manchester United, despite not having a manager in place at the moment, they are willing to go in for Koulibaly and make a big statement signing in January, despite obviously not knowing who the manager's going to be in the summer. There seems to be a momentum building around Koulibaly, and to be honest with you, the more I know about Koulibaly, a lot of you do know about him as well, but he is, like, Real Madrid are apparently after him now. Chelsea are entering the equation. He is, as I've said loads of times, the best available centre-back in the world at the moment. Now, it doesn't mean he's the best centre-back in the world. Van Dijk's not available from Liverpool. Varane's not available from Real Madrid. But Koulibaly is in this unique situation where he is arguably the best centre-back in Europe. But he is at a club that doesn't really befit his quality. And that's nothing against Napoli, but Koulibaly needs to be playing at one of the top 10 clubs in the world. And he's not, because Napoli's not one of the top 10 in the world. He's available. Now, from Manchester United's point of view, and I think this is where they have to do something about this. It's now or never with Koulibaly, because yes, he's going to cost £90 million, but he's going to cost £90 million for a lot of reasons. Mainly because teams like Chelsea and Real Madrid are being mentioned. Now, I personally think that Napoli are willing to sell. I think Napoli are willing to sell us Koulibaly for anywhere between 80 and £100 million. I think they'll do the deal. I don't think Real Madrid are in for Koulibaly. I think Real Madrid have got a lot of problems, but I don't think centre-back is their problem. They've got Ramos, they've got Varane. I don't think they want or need or would want to spend that amount of money on Koulibaly. I think Real Madrid are being mentioned by Napoli. I think it's being leaked by Napoli to make us, sort of get our act together. And that's been used many a time before. I think Chelsea and Koulibaly is a deal that I felt was going to happen a couple of years ago. I think Chelsea and Koulibaly do actually fit each other quite well. And especially because of Sarri formerly being the Napoli manager. So that concerns me a little bit. But Manchester United can't wait on this deal. It's not like, will we, won't we? He is a top centre-back. And if we snooze, we lose. Now, I think United might be snoozing because of the price. But at the end of the day, Koulibaly's 90 million now and he's 90 million in the summer. Nothing changes with that. Waiting for Manolas because his release clause comes down, fine. Koulibaly signed a contract a few months ago. His price isn't going anywhere. It's 90 million now. It's 90 million in the summer. In fact, it could go up in the summer. I think if we want this player, do it now. There is no reason not to do it now. You're either going to spend the money or you're not going to spend the money. Do it now. Everything points to doing it now. And the interesting thing about Koulibaly, I was looking at an article that was actually from Italy, and I translated it, don't worry. But effectively, Chiellini and Koulibaly are they had a graph basically of interceptions and tackles won. So you've got some people ranking high for interceptions, some for tackles, which can be a little bit misleading because it's like Michael Carrick, isn't he? He didn't make many tackles because he read the game very well. But Chiellini and Koulibaly are consistently the two top centre-backs in Europe, in Italy for that. Manolas didn't even feature in the top 10, which was a little bit of concern. Skriniar was doing well as well. We ain't going to get Chiellini. I don't think Chiellini would be the sort of centre-back that we need. But Koulibaly certainly is. And I just feel that if we don't do this deal, we're not going to do this deal. Because if you get him in now, as I said last night, you give him a few months to come into the team and adjust to the Premier League with very little pressure, really. He's going to be better than Phil Jones. He's going to be better than Chris Smalling. But he comes into the team at a time where he can adjust and have a few months and then hit next season really hard. But I think he'd come in and adjust very, very quickly. But he's 27. You know, if you get him in now for 90 million, you get another 6 months out of his career. So I just think just go and do it. And I hope that the positivity around there is that United are going to do it. Because as I've said before, I am a little bit irritated by the fact that other teams seem to be doing things and we're not. And I know the only other team is Chelsea, but I just want United to start doing stuff. They need to get some momentum going, and I think Koulibaly would just bring so much. His leadership, he is a leader in that Napoli back four. He is quick. He is good on the ball. He does read the game very well. He's absolutely dominant in the air. I think he would do, as I said a month ago, 2 months ago, he would be for United what Van Dijk has done for Liverpool. And what has Van Dijk done for Liverpool? He's made them a team that let in silly goals, get loads of clean sheets. So for me, it'd be absolutely massive. But there you go. Please do drop a like on the video. Remember, we're not at the 8 o'clock show tonight because there is a match of Chelsea versus Spurs in the Carabao Cup, which I'm going to do a watch along on, and that's football. The link's in the video description. Obviously, United are playing Spurs at the weekend, so I just wanted to familiarise myself with that and watch what is a big game as well. Hopefully, Son puts Hazard in the shade. Manchester United players demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be the next Manchester United manager. This is coming out from the British media today. Whether it's a load of nonsense or not, I think the most important point to this, I just want to get straight into and say, I don't give a shit what Manchester United players want. That should not be a criteria for Manchester United manager. Since when has it ever been a criteria? I know football's changed a lot over the last few decades, but that should never be a reason. I don't like the rumours that came out that Woodward was consulting players about whether to sack Mourinho, i.e. people like Paul Pogba. I don't give a shit what Paul Pogba thinks about Manchester United manager. I really don't. And I know some of you do. And I love Paul Pogba. But to be honest with you, if I'm running a shop store, Tesco's, McDonald's, a bank, whatever like that, I will speak to my staff to gauge, how their opinions and feelings are. But I don't want to know whether they think the next manager should be this, that or the other. There should always be a structure. There should always be a hierarchy. And the reality is there are people you can speak to better than the players. Because players are always going to have their own agenda. They love it under Solskjaer at the moment because they've got a manager who's approachable, a manager who wants to play attacking football. These are big contrasts to Jose Mourinho. But what if there's another manager out there that is approachable, that plays attacking football, and is a better coach than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? That is the danger. Players, if you go and speak to Rashford, Pogba, Lingard, Martial at the moment, and you're Ed Woodward, they're going to go, oh, it's brilliant, we're having a great time, we love it, it's so much better than Mourinho, we'd love him to get the job. But they don't know what's on the other side. They don't know what what Pochettino would be like or what Zidane would be like. I don't. And also, I think the best example here is, because I know some of you are shouting already, going, "Oh yeah, of course the players should be consulted." The best, most influential captain and player in Premier League history is Roy Keane. And Sir Alex Ferguson kicked Roy Keane out of the club because Roy Keane became a bit vocal about improvements that he felt needed to be done at the club. He did an MUTV interview. United, I think, had lost badly to Sunderland or something like that. He was injured. He did an interview saying people like Kieran Richardson and John O'Shea weren't good enough. He was right, but Sir Alex Ferguson didn't like that disruption and he kicked him out of the club. The best leader we've ever had in the Premier League era, the best captain there's been in the Premier League era, and Sir Alex Ferguson put his foot down and kicked him out. Now, if Roy Keane was here now, Ed Woodward would have him round for tea all the time and he'd be going, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? That, to me, is the perfect bit of evidence why players should not be consulted on who the manager is. Because if Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest sports manager there has ever been, kicks Roy Keane out of the club because Roy Keane expresses an opinion that I felt at the time was right, it shows you that there should always be that dividing line. Footballers are footballers, managers are managers, the board's the board. The board and the manager deal with what happens. The board don't go to players saying who should be the manager of this football club. That, to me, is a big no-no. And if it is going on at United, I'd be very concerned about that because player power is a dangerous thing. We don't want to become Chelsea where they recycle managers because players drop tools and then pick them up again when a new manager comes in. I don't want United to be that. I love the players. The players are there to do a great job. and they're doing a good job at the moment, but they should not be consulted on who the next manager is going to be. I think it's a total and utter mistake, and certainly would never have happened with our more successful teams we've had in the past. But they want Solskjaer. Some of us want Solskjaer. The board have got to take a patient approach to it, as far as I'm concerned. Talking about Sir Alex Ferguson, he was at Old Trafford over the festive period. Apparently, he gave a rousing speech about saying you are going to be the players that get Manchester United back on track again. I just would love to be. I mean, I know Mourinho's gone, and I was watching the Flex and Rant show at lunchtime, and obviously they've not done a show since Mourinho had been sacked, so they were talking about it quite rightly. But I don't want to keep dwelling on Mourinho, but what I want to say is this. I would just love to know. There's a few things you'd love to know from United, isn't there? And one of the things I'd love to know is, what was the general feeling about Mourinho when he was there? Did Sir Alex Ferguson really want him there? And it's amazing how the club have got rid of him. Thanks, Mourinho. Off you go. Shut the door. Lock it. Forget about it. Hello, party time. Ollie, get Sir Alex Ferguson back. It's Christmas. Yay. Pop some crackers. Let's have a party. And that's what it feels like with United and the fans and everybody at the moment. And it's like Mourinho is just like this thing that we forget it even happened. Forget it. He's knocking on the door. Shut up. Turn the music up. And it really does feel like that. And I just, obviously as fans, we know why we feel that. We've been doing shows constantly for 3 years on the United Stand, so we get to gauge how we all feel. But it's interesting how the club, the board, the players, Sir Alex Ferguson, they just seem to... They've not been disrespectful to Mourinho. They've not been disrespectful, but they have certainly moved on very quickly and just sort of turned their back on that, and this is what it is, which to me suggests that they wanted him out a lot longer than before it happened, which is obviously a very, very good thing. Talking about the squad, well, actually, let's just talk about Pochettino, because obviously I spoke about Pochettino last night, saying that he's sort of given an ultimatum to Spurs that they need to spend money if they want to be successful. But a second part to that, sorry, a bit tired tonight. Got to get pumped up for this watch along I'm doing in a few minutes. What I wanted to say is that Pochettino did also make another comment that he'd like to be at Spurs for the next 20 years. So obviously Spurs fans feel very, very enthusiastic about that. But and I wanted to sort of jump on their enthusiasm and say, look, maybe Pochettino... I mean, what we must remember about Pochettino is we're always going to be arrogant. We're Manchester United. We're the biggest club in the world. We're certainly the biggest club in England. And if we want a manager from England, whoever they are, we should be able to get them. Probably apart from Pep and Klopp for different, obviously, political reasons and what they're doing at the moment. But Spurs aren't in a title race, really, and I don't think they ever will be. So I think with Pochettino, we look at him and go, if we want him, we should get him. But everybody's a little bit different. And what if Pochettino is like... actually, we've not been far off a title race in the last 3 years. We're now going to have this amazing stadium, arguably the best stadium in England. If the club do start spending money with the players that I've got and the qualities I've got to develop youth and bring players in and develop them, maybe, Spurs could be a club that over the next 20 years I could win a title. Maybe I could be to Spurs what Sir Alex Ferguson was to Manchester United. And it just made me think, well, maybe Pochettino's not on the menu. And if he isn't on the menu, then you're down to two. You're down to Solskjaer and you're down to Zidane. And again, we don't know whether Zidane wants the job. So I'm just terrified. And the only reason I mentioned Pochettino there in the 20 years thing is I'm just terrified that if Pochettino doesn't want the job and Zidane doesn't want the job, we've got to gamble on Solskjaer, because I don't want Allegri, I don't want Conte, I don't want Simeone, and I will be very vocal about those managers. I feel that every one of those will just be another Mourinho. Whereas I think Zidane, Pochettino, Solskjaer, you really are turning a new page. So I hope that is what's going to happen. But we will see. We will see. With regards to those joining us a little bit late, the Koulibaly transfer is potentially back on. Reports from France Football earlier on that Koulibaly, Manchester United are, going to not be put off by the fact that they don't have a manager in place permanently and do this deal now. Which to me, look, there is no manager you're going to bring in to Manchester United that is going to go, why the bloody hell did you sign Koulibaly in January, you bloody idiots? I wanted Jerome Boateng. It's just not going to happen. Koulibaly, any manager coming into Manchester United will go, they'll actually come in with a smile on their face, because they'll be like, that's 90 million of my money not spent. They've spent it already. Oh, well, if I was like Pochettino or Zidane coming in and they've gone, look, we made an executive decision. We bought Koulibaly in January. It's not going to affect your transfer budget. You'd go, oh, well, Oh, all right then, okay. And then as we walk out the room, woohoo! I've got a top class centre back, and I've still got my money to spend. So Koulibaly, tick, 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 tick. There's just there's no downside to doing it. He's one of the best centre backs in the world. Any manager is going to want him, and as I said, if you're a new manager coming in, it's not out of your budget, so it works. It works on many levels. Talking about somebody who did cost us a lot of money, Fred. Fred is not in Dubai, apparently. He's not in Dubai because his wife or girlfriend don't have to be married. Free country. Is having or has had a baby, so he's been given a license to train at Carrington and not go to Dubai. This, to me, this is always dangerous territory to put an opinion on it, but you know me, I always will do. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. I think that it's a difficult one. I don't know when the baby was born, or has it even been born. So I'm going to do this in a hypothetical situation and say, if that baby's already been born, he's only going away for 6 days, and it's all right training at Carrington, but everybody of note is not at Carrington. You've just put in a performance against Reading where you were taken off after 60 minutes because you were crap. The team then goes to Dubai for what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already identified as hard work, physical fitness training. And you're in Carrington. Look, I'm not criticising the bloke and I'm not criticising the club for doing it, because decisions have been made and you've got to respect those decisions. What I'm saying is it's an unfortunate thing for Fred, because that Dubai training thing is very, very important in the next 6 months of Manchester United, and him not being there. Yeah, it's great he's training at Carrington, but you're not there. It's like going back to the house party, isn't it? The big party that United are having, and everyone just FaceTimes Fred, who sat at home, with his party hat on and a bowl of Wotsits. You can pretend he's part of it, but you're not. You're not at the party, and I think it's a shame. I don't really where I sit on it, because the baby could be ill, it might not be born. I don't know. I'm not criticising him for that. I'm just saying it dropped into my head. How is Fred going to get back into the United team? How is he going to get back involved? Because he puts in a bad performance. He needs to be part of this, what's going on in Dubai, and he's not there. I think it's a shame. It's a shame. It's timing, isn't it? But you need to be part of those things. There'll be a lot of stuff going on in Dubai that he needs to be part of that he's missing out on. Obviously, Pogba's not there, but that's more to do with an injury. I really hope Pogba's fit for the Spurs game. I think if he's not fit, it reminds me of the City game in November, at the start of November, when we didn't have Pogba, and we suddenly, we saw at the weekend, you take Pogba out at the United side especially, and that midfield becomes very redundant. So I really, really hope that Pogba is back fit, because we need him for that. So if he's back at Carrington getting all the fitness work, getting all the recuperation work he needs, then to me that is absolutely fantastic. Also, very, very interesting that Pogba's brother, I saw this last night, Pogba's brother came out and said that all the problems with Pogba were Mourinho, and the dressing room was lost. And then he went beyond Pogba and said, basically said that all the problems at Manchester United were on Mourinho. The dressing room was down, Pogba's form was down. It sort of got a lot of traction on social media, but I was sort of like, because we've been, this is the brilliant thing about the United Stand community, because we talk about things probably months before they actually become facts. And, we're not right about everything as a community, but you can sort of read it. And, we know that Mourinho was the problem. Mourinho sympathisers don't want that to be the case, but it was obvious that, especially Pogba, but I think the wider Manchester United, that's why I was saying, the door's been closed and everyone's having a party, because Mourinho just, I don't want to dwell on Mourinho, but there was that mythical love letter that he apparently sent to United in the January before he got the job, saying that he wanted the job, that he wanted to make Man United great again, he wanted us to he wanted to play a certain way, that he wanted to involve the youth. And he, then his first press conference, I won't have injuries here, and his list of youth players, and none of it ever came true. What Mourinho did is just sit there and become the bitter and twisted man that he had come in the latter months at Chelsea. There was no change in how he was in the last few months at Chelsea. He fell out with people like Matic in the last few months of Chelsea. He was constantly publicly digging out the board, his players, performances were poor. I don't understand what Mourinho did, really, because he did totally and utterly repeat the mistakes he made at Chelsea. And, you know, they always say that to make a mistake is one thing, but to continually make the same mistake is a sign of a problem with a personality. And I don't know what Mourinho's story was, but the main thing I'm talking about here is that, yeah, you know what? I know that there's people out there who don't like Pogba who are United fans. I do like Pogba. I don't like his dancing and everything like that, but that doesn't make me... You know, I'm just old school with stuff like that. I think Roy Keane is the best. You know, going back to Keano, he would not be putting videos out of him having a bloody sandwich, let alone dancing about. He just wouldn't have it. But that's old school football. This is the new world of football. And I couldn't give a damn, as I said before. Paul Pogba can do what he likes. As long as he's performing on the pitch for Manchester United, I don't really care. But what is not in doubt is that Mourinho destroyed Pogba, and he destroyed a lot of other players. And now that he's gone, that's been lifted. And, you know, his brother is right. His brother is totally right. So I do agree with that, definitely. Anyway, I've got this watch along to do. It's Spurs versus Chelsea. It's on That's Football. I'm going to be live in a couple of minutes' time. The link is in the video description, and the live comments is already open for that. So join me over for that. You can watch it because we've got Spurs at the weekend as a bit of a scouting watch, which I'm going to do. You can watch it because you want Son to be better than Hazard, like I do. Just come and watch it. We'll have a bit of a laugh. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please do drop a like on the video, and don't forget to put your comments in below. Where are you on this Koulibaly deal? I think they've got to do it. Just do it. Why would you wait for the summer? It's still going to cost the same amount of money. Do it. Do it. Do it. And what do you think about players having a say in who the Manchester United manager should be? Is that right? Is that the modern world we live in? Or is it dangerous, like I think? Thanks for watching, everybody. Back tomorrow with Transfer Daily at 7 a.m. Got a good show for you planned there. Make sure you watch the Flex and Rant show as well. And join me on That's Football. I'll speak to you all soon. Smash a like on your way out.